How are you feeling? How long have you been here?
3 months, May 17th.
And what brought you?
That's difficult to answer.
I'm not clear. How is it that playing the piano for people has eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital?
That's difficult to answer.
the end? There's a noise inside my head of crying people facing death. Is this the end? Is this the end? Oh, I'm burning in the dystopia. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the dystopia. This is the final genocide. What have we done to the world? What have we done to the world? I'm burning in the dystopia. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the dystopia. This is the final sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree? Travel the world and the seven seas. Everybody's looking for something. Some of them want to use you. Some of them want to get used by you. Some of them want to use you. Some of them want to be out you.
Won't anybody help us? What are we running for? When there's nowhere we can run to anymore. Can't afford to be innocent. Stand up and face the enemy. It's a do or die situation. We will be invincible. And with the power of conviction, there is no sacrifice. It's a do or die situation. We will be invincible.
Who the fuck is Karlyn? She's just some sweet lady. She's like in a knitting. She does like a knitting stream. She's like a knitting YouTuber. She does knitting.
Can we grow up a little bit and
Alt
not
Girl
be
sent $200.
retarded?
Have you
Please.
seen the work of Karlyn Borysenko? Anti-commie cult leader and is obsessed with looking at what actual far-left communists are talking about and organizing today, infiltrating them. They infiltrated the universities, schools, media. She has the receipts to back it up. Primary source evidence. Infestation is dire and she calls Republicans idiots eating slop. Agree.
Thank you for the big super chat. Yeah, oh, I know Karlyn B. She's solid. She's funny. I
The
like
great
her.
noticer sent $200.
Literally,
So
not
it's,
Ian.
it's not because I haven't dangled my junk into the combat zone on purpose to get some camera footage, but that's the big part of what's the
Is
problem.
that what you call reporting?
Go
and live
under if
streaming?
you're going to do it.
Yeah,
go
seriously.
undercover. Otherwise, you're wearing a hunk of meat in a lion's den. Nick Shirley, I love you. Take care of yourself, man. Karlyn Borysenko went undercover. Do stuff like that. Like if you want to expose this thing, don't pariah, please.
But Ian, here's and I agree with you to an extent.
I watch these streams, and I've been watching a self-professed fascist named Karlyn, who drinks and basically roasts these live streams. But weirdly, she has apparently embedded herself with Antifa before, and so it's such a funny stream because
So they tolerate her?
oh no, not anymore. She no. She's I mean, I don't know if she's trolling or not, but on her stream, she's like, I am a fascist.
Right.
So she's proudly proclaiming she's a fascist. I don't know how much of that is trolling, how much of it is real, but conservatives who are drawn to her stream will say things like, these people are funded by George Soros. And it's the funniest thing because she gets so mad. And she's like, get off fucking Fox News. Stop watching that shit. It's all wrong. Do these people look funded? Do these people look like they have money? They're not funded. It's so, and I guess her bigger point is by saying these are funded agitators and not saying what they actually are, which is anti-capitalist revolutionaries, you dilute what's really happening. Because what's really happening, according to her, and I think a fair amount of people, is that the economy is so fucked. The middle class is diminishing so much. The cost of living is so high that this is the perfect soil you need if you wanted communism to grow anywhere.
What's up? What's up? What's up, everyone? Happy Tuesday. For some reason, I keep thinking today is Wednesday. And then I remind myself my husband doesn't have the day off today, so it's obviously not Wednesday. Like, what are you even doing? No, I keep skipping over the entire day of Tuesday in my head for no good reason. But that's all right. That's all right. Hey, guys, we got a couple more days until the May Day protests on Friday. In case you missed the stream yesterday, we did a very, 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 very important training on the stream, which I have posted basically everywhere. But of course, you can find it on the YouTube channel. You can find it on the Rumble channel. You can find it on Twitter, pinned to the top of several different Twitter accounts. And of course, as always, you can find it on my main Substack, which is Karlyn, KARLYN.substack.com. Link in the description below if you can't find it. And what we talked about yesterday for the majority of the stream was going undercover with the far left for May Day. Because just like we did with the No Kings protest, we are organizing a national group of volunteers through my Center for Left-Wing Studies. That is my nonprofit dedicated to mapping the modern activist left in America. And one of the ways that we are working on mapping the modern activist left is we are going out all over the country, boots on the ground, and collecting direct primary source evidence about how the left is recruiting and organizing in pretty much every major American leftist city. We have volunteers in at this point, at least one, if not more than one, and in a lot of smaller, more rural places as well, because of course this is happening all over the country. So yesterday we did about an hour-long training for people that are willing to go to a May Day protest in their area, because as you know, Friday, May 1st is the May Day mass general strike. This is basically like one of the number one leftist holidays of the year. It is the International Day of the Worker. It is when they celebrate unions getting workers' rights and, 8-hour days and stuff like that and all this stuff. And if you haven't caught up to this yet, the unions are the focal point of far left organizing. That's not to say that everyone in a union is a far leftist. That's not true. Many people have to be in unions they don't want to be in. But the leadership of the unions and the membership that are very active in the unions are utilizing the unions, and basically all of them, except for the police union, that is the only exception that we found. They are utilizing the unions to push far left activism all over the country. We are going to see a ton of unions out for the May Day protest. We're going to see the SEIU. We're going to see the UAW. We're going to see the AFL-CIO. We are absolutely going to see the Teamsters. We're going to see higher education organizing unions. We're going to see electricians. We're going to see metal workers. Do you know how I know we're going to see those? I saw them directly at the No Kings protest in Boston. of all places, the most blue collar fucking electricians and metal workers in the country in Boston, and they're organizing for leftist events and going to leftist events. And actually, the metal workers actually had a T-shirt. I have a picture of this with a solidarity fist on the back. The fucking metal workers in Boston, like the fucking the townies with the Boston accent, are running around with a solidarity T-shirt at the No Kings protest. I could not believe it. I was like, what has happened to this city that I love so much? There was nothing more. I went to college in Boston. For people who don't know, I went to college at Boston University. I loved every minute of it. I love Boston. I think Boston is the greatest city in the world. And I was never happier than when I was dating a fucking townie with a thick Boston accent. I love that shit. I'm so attracted to it. Probably one of the reasons I'm also attracted to my husband, because of a very thick Russian accent. There's just something about men with certain accents that I find deeply, deeply attractive. And now all my beloved townies in Boston are organizing in leftist unions, and it breaks my heart. It is a black spot on my soul because it is unnecessary and stupid. And this is why we can't have nice things. This is why everything is ruined. Anyway, since I did this training yesterday, I have already received emails from over 30 people willing to go to the May Day protests on Friday in their city. So it seems like yet again, we will have another very strong volunteer turnout all over the country, collecting information all over the country. If you haven't received a reply to your email yet, don't worry about it. I haven't replied to anyone yet, but I do have all the emails. I'm working on getting them into the spreadsheet and doing all the things that we need to do. But if you have not yet emailed me following the instructions I gave you in this training yesterday, and you want to be involved in the May Day organizing effort, what you need to do is you need to watch this presentation and you need to follow the instructions I give you in this presentation. There is a very specific reason that I am not just saying, here's how you get involved and here's the address to contact and all that stuff. There's a very, very specific reason I'm doing that. It's because if you are going to be a volunteer for me in this effort, you need to understand what we're doing. You need to understand why we do things this way. You need to understand what the goal is. You need to understand the do's and don'ts of the situation. And I am not going to assume anyone has actually watched this presentation unless they follow the instructions I give them in the presentation, which is where I tell you how to get on the list of volunteers. Okay? There's a method to my madness. I don't need every volunteer in the world if those volunteers are going to be disruptive to our effort. This is a serious data collection effort, guys. We are collecting on-the-ground evidence, on-the-ground propaganda from far left groups all over the country to be able to assess what far left groups are active in what areas, what are their recruiting messages, what does their propaganda look like, how are they organizing, who's actually showing up at events and doing this sort of recruiting. That is what we are trying to ascertain. We are not trying to own the libs. We're not trying to get a video dunking on them. We are not trying to debate them. Oh, no. Oh, Alexander, you're confused. You're confused. This is a hierarchy. I am in charge. You are not in charge. I am the queen fascist bitch of this channel, and any organizing effort that I put together, you don't have a say in it, bro. If you're not going to respect the hierarchy, get the fuck out. We don't want you here. 5-minute timeout. Sit there and think about it. Don't whine when you come back. Yes. You do need to watch yesterday's class to figure out how to get involved directly to this effort. And I'm not trying to make things difficult, guys. I'm really not. But like, you have to understand, if I didn't have some sort of bar that people had to pass, this would become a giant shit show very quickly. If you don't have time to watch it, you don't have time to watch it, and that's just the way it goes. You could always go to the May Day protest, see what happens, and watch it later. I guess that is an option. I would prefer you watch it beforehand, but you could always do that. You could always go to the May Day protest without being part of my effort. You don't have to be a part of my volunteer army. If we have different goals, if you only want to go to May Day to own the libs and to get a piece of content that's going to go viral on the internet, we have different values. That is not what we're doing here. That is not what we're doing at all. If you want to go do that, fine, go do that. But you will not be a part of my organizing effort, and I disavow all that bullshit. We do not go to events to disrupt or cause problems or provoke interactions. We go to events to gather intelligence, gather information, see what's happening on the ground directly for ourselves so that we can hinge into reality with what the left is doing, okay? And so the bar that I have set is if you want to be a part of this, you got to watch the training. If you want to be on my team, this is the training for how to be on my team and work together, because this is not just about me. This is about creating an environment where everyone can work together. Everyone can trust that their identity is going to be protected. Everyone can trust that the people who are involved are taking this seriously and it's not just some internet shit show. We are putting in parameters to create a positive experience for everyone so that we can continue to build and expand and grow the volunteer army that we are putting together nationwide. Because as everyone knows, the May Day protest is not going to be the last time we do this. Oh, he's complaining in the Discord chat? Oh, I guess I have to go ban him in Discord then. Don't worry, I'll take care of that. Reagan or Bot, you can also go ban him in Discord if you want. Like, you want to go whine? Actually, take screenshots before you ban him, please. I want to see what he's saying. I can't. I'm in the middle of I'm cooking though, so let me finish my thought. But like, actually, you know what? Just leave him alone. Don't ban him until I go deal with it. I want to make sure I see what's going on and be entertained by it. Anyway. Guys, as you all know, this is not going to be the last protest that the left does this year. This is just one of their big kickoff events. And I really do believe that this is going to kick off another protest summer for all of us. I have to admit, I'm getting excited. Listen, we're about to enter May. Is Red May Seattle doing anything this year? Hang on. Let me just look this up real quick. Red May Seattle, I don't even think. No, they have. Ooh, May Day 2026. Let's talk about that in a second. I totally forgot about Red May, yo. Red May is kicking off, Red May is a group of radical revolutionary socialists in Seattle who do a lot of content for us every single May. Just leave him alone, Reagan. Just leave him alone. We'll block him after I have a chance to look at it and laugh at it. And so that's coming up. We have Pride Month with June coming up. There's going to be pride parades all over the place. The anarchist book fairs are starting to pop off all over the country. You guys know I love nothing more than a good anarchist book fair. W's in the chat. Chica Lago, thank you so much for the gifted channel membership. Actually, guys, can I do a little incentive for you guys on the gifted channel memberships? Can we have a little incentive? Because, listen, can I be honest? Yesterday, we didn't do so hot on the channel membership donations. Yesterday, we were nowhere near a goal, okay? And I didn't ask that much because we were doing a live class, and that's fine, and that's all well and good. And, you know, not every day is going to be a W day, and that's just the way it goes sometimes. But, I would love to kind of make up for that by getting up to 150 channel memberships given out on the stream today, to invite new people into the channel, to invite new people to our spy stream infiltrations. We will be doing 2 spy stream. No, there is a disenrage. We will be doing 2 spy stream infiltrations this week. We will be doing one tomorrow evening. We will be doing one on Thursday evening. Those are for sure. And those are going to be supporter exclusives. Those are not going to be public infiltrations. So you will only get access to these spy streams where we go inside live leftist organizing calls and we listen to them live. You will only get access to these if you are a member of my YouTube channel or a supporter on my Substack or a supporter on any of the other platforms that you can support on as well. And so I would love to invite 150 new people into the channel today, either by joining as a channel member or by people gifting out channel memberships. It really does help out the channel. It funds the work I do. I am completely funded by people like you guys. W's in the chat to Tolkien fan with 5 gifted channel memberships. Thank you so much. And guys, as an extra incentive, first of all, we give W's in the chat anytime people gift channel memberships. They're not only supporting me, they're also supporting the community, which is fucking awesome. But I am willing. Oh, we're actually up to 6. Hang on. Let me make sure I get the number right. I don't want to shortchange us by a channel membership. I want to make you guys a deal. If we can hit this rather stretch goal of 150 new channel members by the end of this stream, I will do an additional public spy stream tonight at 8 p.m. for everyone. Now, people are saying, is there a disenraged, Karlyn? There is. I asked Jennifer to push it back a half hour, okay? I said, Jennifer, can we start at 9:30? She hasn't answered yet, but I know she's going to say yes. W's Ted, thank you so much for the gifted channel membership, bro. But there is a very, very, very interesting leftist organizing call that I literally just became aware of that I think would be perfect for a live public spy stream. But I am only going to do it if we meet the channel membership goal of 150 today. I know it's a lot, but we got to make up for yesterday. Like I gave a whole hour-long class yesterday and almost no one donated, and that kind of sucked. Hey, Cheeks, thank you. Thanks for all the information. iPhones don't do memberships. I do appreciate that. I will count that as a membership, Cheeks. Guys, if you are on a device that doesn't allow you to do channel memberships, you can just let me know to designate a super chat as a channel membership, and I will. I won't I don't like people abusing this, but I will designate it as a channel membership. Of course, we do want to do the channel memberships as a priority because that gets other people involved. But if you're on a device and you can't do that, I will make an exception. Just don't abuse the privilege, okay? Thank you, Cheeks, for that. I appreciate it. W's to Anthony with the gifted channel membership. Really appreciate you, bro. Kaz Martin with 5 for the W. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Kazmar. Really appreciate that. That is another 7, so that gets us up to 14. Let's see. We just got a 20, I think. We just got a 20 from Armand for memberships. I will put that towards memberships, Armand. Thank you so much for that super chat. Really appreciate that. That's another 4 memberships because they're $5 each. All right. All right. So, guys, if we can get up to that 150 number today, that would be fucking awesome. I will keep harassing you and haranguing you until we get there. Shikalago in with another one. W, bro. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much for supporting my work and for supporting other people on the channel. You guys are awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So if you missed the training yesterday, you can go over to the Substack. You can watch it there. I will add that to the channel membership, Mike. Thank you so much for that. Really, really, really appreciate that, bro. And if you want to join us, follow the instructions in the presentation, and that will tell you exactly how to join. We already have over 30 volunteers signed up so far. That's fucking awesome. Let's keep that momentum going, and we're going to collect all sorts of data and all sorts of evidence that literally no one else in the country has on May Day. Yeah, I'm going to go laugh at that guy who's having a meltdown in my Discord in a second. Believe me, like I'm going to laugh at that. I'm going to relish this moment. I just don't want anyone to ban him. I want to be able to see the messages. All right, what else is going on? Let's check in on what they're doing for Red May Seattle really quickly. Hey, Rosie. Thank you so much for the super chat, Rosie. I really appreciate that. I will put that towards memberships, my friend. Thank you so much for supporting my work. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see what Red May's doing. Red May, again, I said this earlier, Red May is a group of radical revolutionary socialists in Seattle. It is led by the incomparable Philip. If you do not know Philip yet, we will all become best friends with Philip before the end of Red May. What Philip does is he organizes a whole bunch of live streams and events out of Seattle. Some things are live streamed, some are recorded for later, some aren't recorded at all if they're just in-person stuff, but a lot of it is live streamed. And he brings in some of the most far-left activists from all over the country, and they say some of the craziest shit at Red May every single year. And so he streams a lot of these presentations live on YouTube, and Philip absolutely loves it when I stream snipe his live streams. In fact, there's nothing that Philip likes more than when I stream snipe his live streams and we watch it live. And remember the last time that Philip found out about this live, he threatened to give me a copyright strike. And then I said, Philip, you are a communist. You don't believe in intellectual property ownership. And so if you give me a copyright strike, that just means you're not a real communist, Philip. And guess what? That copyright strike never came because Philip may be many things and Philip might not like me at all, but Philip is actually a communist and he is actually a principled communist. And so I'm glad we were able to come to an agreement on that he doesn't believe in private property ownership, which includes intellectual property, which includes all of the live streams that he's doing on his YouTube channel. And so I am allowed to watch them. Yeah, he called us spies and secret agents. I don't know how secretive we're being when we're live on like 4 platforms on the internet, but you know what? Who's to say? W's Derpy, welcome to the channel, bro. Welcome to the cult. Your life is over. You're never gonna see the world the same way again. But we're gonna be your friends during the Marxist Revolution, and that's gonna be pretty rad. So let's see what old Philip is doing for Red May 2026. Where's the schedule, Philip? Let's see. Silicon Empires Fight for the Future. Jody Dean! Jody Dean is back. We love Jody. Last year for Red May, we recorded Jody Dean calling to violently overthrow the federal government, and we made Jody go viral on Twitter for it. And then Jody went and participated in a whole presentation that Haymarket Books did about me, whining and complaining about me. Jody Dean was very upset that I made her go viral on Twitter for calling to overthrow the government. Hi, Jody. We're going to be watching you again. Don't worry about it. Oh, Elliott Bay Books. Maybe this is something that the people in Seattle can go to, how police organize to protect and serve themselves. That might be a good in-person event for my intrepid undercover agent in Seattle. There's also a movie there. Let's see. Hegel, Smiling at the End of the Road. Let's see. Do I recognize any of these people? Nope. Ice Age Policing. Ooh, an in-person town hall. Let's see. Culture Wars or History Wars. This could be a good one. That's on YouTube. Workers' Inquiry. That's in person only. The Politics of Feeling. Oh, that's going to be a fucking great one. Kyle is the most handsome of all socialists. I'm really glad to see Kyle back on the channel. Kathy Weeks is at that in-person one. And it's because Kyle is the most handsome of all socialists. I'm just saying I don't even think we saw Kyle last year. I'm glad Kyle is back. Class Composition in a Time of Fascism. We're definitely listening to that one. That one sounds great. The Mask Comes Off, The Path to the Trump Doctrine. Oh, Aziz! We love Aziz. Aziz is a law professor at Boston College who wants to abolish the Constitution. Mizakan's going to love that. Mizakan and Master Shake, they fucking love Aziz. That's going to be great. Paolo Verno, Materialist Philosophy in Counter-Revolutionary Times. No clue who that is, but maybe we'll find out. Karl Marx in America. Yo, Cedric. Cedric is a very well-known socialist. We've recorded him before. Socialism and Revolution in Asian American History. Oh, that'll be a great one for my undercover spy in Seattle. Critical Theory and Social Form. Okay, we don't have Sophie this year, but one in the chat if you think that this schedule of Red May presentations looks really promising and entertaining, and we should stream snipe as many of these presentations as possible. 2 in the chat if you think these presentations look really boring and stupid and you don't want to watch them. 1 in the chat if you think this looks like an amazing group of presentations. 2 in the chat if you think this is boring. Old Sub made his triumphant return to Twitter today. I was so excited to see him pop back up again. All you needed to do was create another Twitter account. Am I right, Old Sub? I know we prefer the old one, but it is what it is. Twitter's going to Twitter. But we love you. We appreciate you. W's in the chat. Thank you so much for the 20 gifted channel memberships. You rock, bro. Really, really, really appreciate you as always. Look, guys, we're almost 1/3 of the way to our overall goal, and that's pretty fucking awesome. That's awesome. Red May also looks awesome. We'll be stream sniping a lot of this stuff, and it'll be cool. All right, couple last things before we get started for today. Number 1, did you guys know I've been going viral on Instagram? I've gained over 2,000 Twitter followers overnight. One of my videos, my most recent video, my most recent clickbait thing about the Antifa professors that we recorded over the weekend has almost 200,000 views on Instagram. only has 100,000 views on Twitter, which is still much better than I thought I was going to get on Twitter. Only has a couple thousand views on YouTube, proving yet again that I am YouTube shadow banned, but has almost 200,000 views on Instagram. So I just wanted to let people know to follow my Instagram account. I'm Dr. Karlyn B. Look, I even have a blue check now. Apparently that really entices more people to follow you. So that's kind of cool. They gave me that after I got 10,000 followers, which was like a week or so ago. And so that's pretty rad. So seeing a lot of growth on my Instagram page. I'm going to be doing a lot more of this like very short form clickbait type content, not because I necessarily want to do it, but because it's what the internet wants, man. And I have to play by the rules that I'm given. And so this content just performs better on Twitter and Instagram. I also sometimes, rare occasions, go viral on TikTok. And so if you want to follow me on those platforms, please feel free to do so. I'm also over on Facebook at Decode the Left. You can find the Facebook page for it. The boomers on Facebook are so fucking insufferable, though. Listen, if you follow me on Facebook, don't read the comments. Don't read the comments. I don't even look at my Facebook page. To be honest, all the stuff my Instagram automatically uploads to my Facebook. I don't even have to do anything. And I get notifications of the comments I get on Facebook all the time. And they have dramatically diminished my view of right-wingers in America. And I already thought that conservatives in America were pretty fucking stupid. And then I started getting all of these comments on Facebook on these clickbait videos that I was doing. And yeah, it's wild. It's wild. It is a wild experience. It's like an alternate boomer reality. And I was like, okay, I'm just not going to look at these. I'm just not going to look. I can't even keep up with the comments I'm getting on Instagram. I'm like, even a lot of the comments I'm getting on Instagram are pretty fucking dumb. So if you guys can go over to my Instagram and follow that and make smarter comments than a lot of the comments I'm receiving on these videos, that would be awesome. That would be amazing. And I would really appreciate it. W's Deets, thank you so much for the gifted channel membership, bro. Really, really, really appreciate that. Also, what else did I have? What is this? Oh, I just wanted to let you guys know. Do you know how a couple months ago, I used to have a Twitter account called Actively Unwoke? This is after I wrote the book of the same title. And it has like 7,000 followers on it, but I kind of stopped doing stuff with it because honestly, I was so sick of the woke name. And it made sense at the time. It made sense at the time when I created it back in 2021. And I still think that back then, Actively Unwoke was a goddamn good title for a book. Like, obviously, Ted Cruz totally fucking copied it. And so I thought it was a great title for the book. And I had the Twitter account Actively Unwoke. Well, a couple months ago, Twitter opened this thing called the Handles Marketplace, where you could, if you were like a premium member, and I am a premium member, it just doesn't have the check mark right now because I changed the title and the profile photo. If you were a premium like supporter, like subscriber on Twitter with the blue check, you could pick out a new custom handle and procure it. And so a couple months ago, I procured @RedMenace, and I changed the Actively Unwoke account to @RedMenace because that was fucking cool. Well, I logged back into the Actively Unwoke account the other day, and they had taken my fucking custom handle away. They just took it away. I didn't even get notified of it. I have no idea why they took it away. There's no way for me to contact them to say, what the fuck? I went into their premium support area, and they were like, oh, you can just contact us at this page on the Handles directory. And then I went to the Handles directory page, and there was no fucking way to contact them. And so basically I was just like, okay, fuck you assholes. And so I don't want the Actively Unwoke name anymore. I'm so over the term woke. I think only losers and retards and boomers still use the term woke. Like James Lindsay has completely bastardized the term woke anyway. It doesn't fucking mean anything. The word woke, it should just be absolutely like even on this, I'm wearing Bot's 4 Goals of the Woke Left shirt. Like, this was a great shirt, by the way. It's like an all-time great shirt that was designed by Bot. But even then, I'm like, I don't even want to say the word woke anymore. We got to figure out another title for that because the framework is good, but the word woke is toxic and I don't want to deal with it anymore. Yeah, they just took it away. They literally just took it away for no reason. And so I made a decision. And this is actually what I wanted to originally do with this account anyway. So maybe it just worked out better this way. I just went and did a hard name change in Twitter. And I've now made this account The Cult Decoded. So it's at The Cult Decoded. And it's basically going to be just a dedicated Twitter account for the show, for the live stream that people can follow to find out what's coming up on the live stream and maybe another place I can share clips and all that stuff. I know I have like 8 billion Twitter accounts. There is a method to my madness. At some point, I want to distribute the content creation on these accounts to other people. And I don't want to have it be me on all of them. Like I'm trying to build a framework where we can have multiple different accounts posting about more like niche things. So we have like the Queer Marxism account that's just about queer Marxism. We have the Center for Left Wing Studies account. We have the Decode the Left account. We have the Red Menace Supply Company, which is the merchandise store. We have the Cult account now. There is actually another Red Menace account, so don't worry. We haven't lost the Red Menace name entirely. There is actually just another account. I have so many fucking Twitter accounts, not even funny. But my ultimate goal is to actually be able to have niche content for each of these accounts and to have the accounts supporting the other accounts when it makes sense to do so. Okay. So that is why I have so many Twitter accounts. And it's just one of those things where, like, if you want to follow the show and get updates about it, follow the Cult Decoded. Like, it really is that simple. And that way, you know, this is the dedicated account just for the fucking show. And that's the way it is. So I actually think that this worked out for the best. Obviously, I want to try to get that name again, but I'll try to do it on the other account and not this one. And that's just the way it goes, man. Twitter fucked me over. And I have no idea why. I have no idea what I did. I was barely even using the account. I literally just wanted the handle. I logged into it every once in a while, but I have no idea what precipitated this. And honestly, I don't feel like arguing with Twitter over it. We're just going to move on. I wanted an account dedicated to the show anyway, and so now we have it. So if you want to follow this, it is The Cult Decoded over on Twitter, and I'll put it in the chat. And if you want to follow it, that's cool. That's cool. All right. So today for the stream, guys, what we're going to be doing. That one. No. Bing, bing. Here we go. In preparation for the upcoming May Day mass general strike, we are going to be watching some May Day organizing calls that have happened in the last week. Focus, thank you so much for the gifted channel membership. Really, really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Almost up to 1/3 of our goal, guys, which is rad. There we go. We're going to be watching some May Day organizing calls from different May Day groups. We'll see how long we go. Again, in 2 hours, actually, we'll probably only get to watch one. In 2 hours, there's going to be a live spy stream as long as we hit the channel membership goal. So we're going to watch a May Day organizing call. This is called Students and Workers Rise Up for May Day. This was hosted by May Day Strong. It was live streamed 5 days ago. I've got some other stuff we can watch as well, honestly, if we need other stuff. And maybe we'll watch that stuff tomorrow or the next day as well. But we are preparing for our big Friday undercover mission for the May Day protests. And therefore, in order to best prepare, we have to know what's going on. So one in the chat, if you're ready to get started and watching a May Day organizing call and talking about it. 2 in the chat if you think this sounds really dumb and you're going to go do something else. 1 in the chat if you're ready to get started watching a live May Day organizing call and talking about it. 2 in the chat if you think this sounds dumb and you don't want to do it. There we go. Lots of ones. All right, guys, we are going to get started then. As a reminder, if you do want to support the work I'm doing and see us do a live public spy stream at 8 p.m. Eastern time tonight, donate some channel memberships. If you are on your phone and you can't donate channel memberships, you can send in a super chat and ask me to designate it for channel memberships, and I will. Channel memberships are $5. So whether you can donate 1 or 5 or 10 or 20 or 50 or however many you can donate, I really appreciate the support. It also welcomes new members into the channel. For the 2 other spy streams we are going to be doing this week, we're doing a supporter spy stream tomorrow, and we are doing a supporter spy stream on Thursday. And so I would love to be able to include some new channel members in those spy streams. We got a $5 from Donnie Girl. Thank you, Donnie, for the 5. We've got a gifted channel membership from Derpy Dan. Thank you, Derpy Dan, for the gifted channel membership. Appreciate both of you. Let me see, that's 6. That brings us up to 53, which is pretty fucking rad. Pretty rad. Anytime you guys donate channel memberships, we'll give you W's in the chat. If you have questions about what's going on, ding, ding, ding. W over on Rumble for the gifted channel membership from our pal Ding, ding, ding. Holding down the Rumble fort. Appreciate you, ding, ding, ding. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you guys have questions about what the left is saying, what the left is doing, how the left is organizing, please feel free to ask them in the chat as we are watching this presentation. As a reminder, this is a class. You are now entering into my research classroom and laboratory. We take our research on the far left seriously. No shit posting, no conservative bullshit talking points. But if you guys have serious questions about what the left is doing, why they're doing it, what the language means, please do let me know in the chat. We will answer any and all serious questions that are asked, and I will do my best to break things down and explain them as we make our way through this May Day organizing call. Let's get this party started.
So good to see everybody here.
And I need to set up my sound correctly, because as you know, I am indeed a professional streamer on the internet. Okay, take 2.
This is such an exciting moment for us as an industry, as a coalition, as a movement. My name is Valentina Luqueta from UE, and I have a pleasure and the honor to introduce our honorary speaker, Senator Bernie Sanders, who I believe has already jumped on the call. We would argue in UE, not just because we're biased, because we've been in a close collaboration for the last 30 years, since the mayoral race all the way to Senate, that Bernie Sanders is a politician that's done the most for our movement. There's not many people we invite to these spaces, but Bernie is an organizer. He is a politician, and he's our leader. And he is today to really speak about the importance of how higher ed is part of the bigger efforts to fight against the fascist uprising, and how the workers, when we come to
higher ed is part of the bigger effort to fight the fascist uprising. You don't say. Higher ed is part of the bigger effort to fight the fascist uprising. Pop quiz for the chat. When the left says fascism, what do they mean? This is where you guys answer the question like you're in a class. When the left says fascism, what do they actually mean? What is their definition of the word fascism? Capitalism. When the left says fascism, they mean anyone that supports the normative capitalist system that we currently have in our society. When they say capitalism, they not only mean the economic system, they also mean the cultural model. They mean things like the gender binary, the nuclear family. They mean things like any private businesses, any private property ownership, any private home ownership. And of course, they do mean the United States Constitution, which they believe was built on capitalism, the police, ICE, DHS, CPB, which they believe are the enforcers of capitalism, and the United States government, which they believe is a capitalist institution. So when the left is talking about fascism meaning capitalism, which is their definition, what they mean is they want to overthrow the government because they believe the government upholds capitalism. Does everyone understand this? This is not about Nazis, the mythical Nazis. This is about anyone that upholds nationalism, borders, private property ownership, the fact that there are there are men and women, the nuclear family is considered to be fascism, on and on and on and on and on and on and on. That is what they mean when they say fascism. It's really important to understand this. Okay, tell us again about how higher education is upholding this.
Really speak about the importance of how higher ed is part of the bigger efforts to fight against the fascist uprising. And
the fascist uprising means the United States government. Everyone understand what we're talking about?
And how the workers, when we come together, can not only stop the rise of fascism, but usher in a new vision of society. So I believe the senator is on. So Senator, please take the floor.
Valentina, thank you very much. And let me thank everybody.
Socialist Sound.
UE, and I guess AFT, NEA, AARUP are on board as well.
Okay, all those letters that Bernie just said, these are all unions. I want to make sure people understand this. When I said that the unions are the focal point of far left organizing, every single one of those acronyms that Bernie just laid out, those are all labor unions, including the AFT and the NEA, which are the teachers' unions.
UE has a history of being one of the great progressive unions in the United States going way back.
Oh, yeah?
And I thank them for what they have done over the years and for what they are doing right now, as well as other unions.
I feel like these green glasses
We are
need a
living
moment.
in a unique and unprecedented moment in American history. Never before in the history of this country have so few people held so much wealth and so much power. And these very greedy multi-billionaires are not satisfied with what they have right now. They want more and more and more. And they don't care who they step on to get it. Right now, they are moving aggressively to undermine our democracy with massive campaign contributions through their super PACs. The control is essentially both political parties to tell any candidate, any member of Congress who stands up to them that we're going to spend unlimited amounts of money to defeat you. That's what their power is about. And right now, by the way, they are moving aggressively, these very, very wealthy oligarchs, to pushing artificial intelligence and robotics onto the scene, which will make them even wealthier and more powerful. And the function of AI and robotics is not complicated. It is designed, that's what it's supposed to do, to replace workers. If you are
So
a white
real.
collar worker, if you're working in a university and AI can replace you, why does
You know, it's so funny. I used to get questions all the time a couple of years ago. Karlyn, how does the left feel about AI? How does the left feel about AI? How does the left feel about AI? And honestly, back then, there were people talking about it. And a couple years ago, I don't think the left really knew what to make of AI, to be honest. It wasn't like we were not seeing the left a couple years ago be vehemently against AI. It was kind of like they were figuring it out. They were kind of like figuring out what they thought of it. It's only recently that we have seen the left come out and be vehemently like anti-AI. Like, no, this is designed to replace workers. This is replacing all of us. It's fascist. It's going to be used to control us. They're now saying it has everything to do with surveillance. They're equating it with Palantir. They're not wrong about that, by the way. I'm just explaining what their perspective is. So, like, the left was very neutral on AI. Some people liked it, some people didn't, but they were kind of figuring out kind of like what they thought of it. And then relatively recently, we have seen a dramatic kind of like coming out to say, fuck AI, fuck probably, it honestly probably has to do with like Elon Musk and all the tech bros being close to Trump. And so they didn't really know what to think about it until they didn't like Elon Musk because he was like cozying up to Trump. And then they started like, really getting pissed off about it. So that's kind of like where we're at now. And I just think it's interesting to hear Bernie say like flat out, the purpose of AI is to replace workers.
And robotics is not complicated. It is designed, that's what it's supposed to do, to replace workers. If you are a white collar worker, if you're working in a university and AI can replace you, why does a university or anybody else want to pay you decent wages and benefits when you can have AI doing the work you are doing? And if you're a factory worker or a warehouse worker, why does a boss want to pay you when you have robots who can do the work at a fraction, tiny fraction of what an employer would have to spend on you? And what we are gathered this evening to talk about is what May Day is about. and the meaning of international solidarity. And this is a really, really profound concept. Profound concept. And what it says is, and I saw somebody just wearing a t-shirt a moment ago, an injury to one as an injury to all.
Aha.
That we share a common humanity. That my pain is your pain, your family's needs are my needs, and we do better. We do better when we all reach out and work with each other. Paul Wellstone, the great former senator from Minnesota, who died much too young, said that when we all do better, we all do better. We're in it together. But it's not just national solidarity. The profound wisdom of people way back when talked about the need for international solidarity. And what that means is that instead of workers going to war against each other, going from World War I think all of you have read how in World War I, there was a moment when actually workers, German workers and French workers, in a truce, they came together and understood for a moment, why the hell are they killing each other to make other people even richer? And right now, all over the world, what we're seeing is the oligarchs.
Thanks, Kristen, for the member
enormous
chat.
power, not just
Appreciate
in
you.
America, globally, they're getting richer and richer, while people all over the world are struggling to put food on the table, and some are living in terrible, terrible poverty. So what May Day is the exact opposite of what demagogues like Donald Trump are talking about. What Donald Trump is talking about is trying to divide us up. I'm white, you're black, you're Latino, you're undocumented. My father came from Poland. Your father came from someplace else. Your mother came from someplace else. We got to hate each other because we're a little bit different. And what May Day symbolizes is the concept of a common humanity and internationalism, that we are all in it together. Think of a world where we're not spending trillions of dollars on weapons to kill each other.
Thank you,
but
Anthony.
investing that
Appreciate you,
money
bro.
in education and in healthcare and in ways to improve the lives of our children and our elderly people. Let me just conclude by saying this. Our job, it seems to me, who are interested in economic and social and racial and environmental justice, is not just to take on Trump and his authoritarianism and his kleptocracy and his pathological lying and his greed and his massive tax breaks for the rich and cuts in healthcare and all that stuff. Of course, we've got to do that. But we have also got to create a grassroots political movement of working class people, of young people, of people who believe in justice, who can come together around an agenda that speaks to the needs of all rather than just a few. And I got to tell you, I believe that in the last number of years, we have made progress in doing that. And one of the things I love about the UE, I have to tell you, having gone to their convention, it is really cool to see young people with PhDs working in academia right alongside blue-collar workers who work.
Does everyone know what the UE is? We should probably explain this. Chica Logo! Thank you so much for the gifted channel membership. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yep, we now need 100. Well, no, we need 95 more memberships to do a public spy stream in 2 hours. Guys, here is the UE, okay? The UE is the Union for Everyone. The UE. And there are many different groups. I'm not like super familiar with this, except that I know they organize university professionals and graduate students. And so let's see, for more than 80 years of experience, information for stewards, officers, and workers who want to know more about their rights. I think it's just like a generalized labor union. It's United Electric. Oh, here's what it is. United Electrical, Radio, and Machine Workers of America. There it is. There it is. That's what the UE is. There we go. There we go. The Union for Everyone. United Electrical, Radio, and Machine Workers, but they're also organizing college students and university workers, like graduate student workers. That's one of the weird things about the labor unions is like the UAW, and I think this is now true of the UE as well. Like the United Auto Workers has specific like chapters, I guess, for graduate student workers. Graduate student workers aren't fucking auto workers. Graduate student workers aren't electricians, but they're all in the same fucking union. It's a weird thing, but that's what that is. It's just another big union that's involved in leftist organizing.
Working in factories, standing together, learning from each other. And that's what it's about. Everybody needs healthcare. Everybody wants their kids to do well and get a decent education. Everybody wants to breathe clean air. No sane person wants to be spending money to kill people all over the world. We want to invest it in improving our lives.
Yo.
So what today
Thank you,
is
Mike
about
W.
is
Appreciate you.
a international holiday, which says that when working class people, and I'm proud to have come from the working class, when working class people in the United States and all over the world stand together, we have the power. And yes, the oligarchs have enormous wealth. They do. And they have enormous political power, and they own the media. And they're a formidable opponent. But when we stand together, we can beat them, and we are beating them. All of you know the great victory that's Ron Mamdani won in New York City, taking on the oligarchs, taking on the Democratic establishment, taking on the Republican establishment. He had 100,000 people in the streets knocking.
Zoran Mandami took on both the Democratic and the Republican establishment. Even though Zoran Mandami ran and won as a Democrat, that does not mean that he is a Democrat. They co-opted the Democratic Party to win that. That was the DSA.
And when you have that kind of grassroots movement, it is hard to lose. And that's what we got to do all over this country. We got to bring tens of millions of people together around an agenda that works for all of us. And when we do that, we're going to transform this country and reach out to our brothers and sisters all over the world and create a better world. So let me just thank all of you for what you're doing, and I look forward to continue working with you. Thanks all very much.
Thanks, Bernie.
All right. Thank you, Senator Sanders, for kicking us off. I'm going to move on and introduce our first set of speakers that are going to...
Look at her shirt. When you go undercover, by the way, guys, when you're going undercover at the May Day protests, pay close attention to the t-shirts that people are wearing. If you see people wearing a union t-shirt, take a picture of it, okay? Sometimes they have their union stuff on the front. Sometimes they have their union stuff on the back. It's much easier to take a photo of the back of someone than it is the front of someone. But make sure, like, this hoodie right here says an injury to one is an injury for all. It's the UAW, United Auto Workers Union. This is a UAW sweatshirt with an overtly communist slogan on it. This is the type of stuff we like to collect when we're on the ground to see what are they actually wearing? What are the organizations on their t-shirts? Because they will tell you what organizations they represent just by wearing the t-shirt. So take a picture of it. You don't need to make a big deal out of it. Pick up your phone, bing. That's all you have to do. You have a union section? I saw that.
Build on exactly what Senator Sanders was talking to, and the need to build a grassroots political movement that truly serves us as workers and can show leadership in this moment about what a society that actually cares and actually works for everyone looks like. This first panel is a group of 3 speakers that are going to be talking about the importance of fighting for a public education system and then a higher ed system that serves us as workers and students. So this theme is hands-off higher ed, and these speakers are going to talk through what it looks like to be organizing on campus and beyond towards a more positive vision of worker-centered higher ed and how we can actually make campuses and universities actually work for us. So first we have President Johnny Earl, who is the president of SEIU Local 503, who's going to be followed by Mae Bracelin, who is a former University of Oregon Student Workers, UW Local 8121, and the former University of Oregon YDSA chair. Finally, we're going to have President Max Page, who is the president of the Massachusetts Teachers Association, that are all going to be talking around this theme of
we got Hans in. Hans with the 10 gifted channel memberships. Thank you so much, Hans, for being an amazing supporter. Really, really appreciate that. W's in the chat for Hans. Let me get this question from Old Sub, but let me update the channel memberships first before I forget to do math. There we go. Is it safe to say the Democratic Party is net? No, it is not safe to say that. It is safe to say, Old Sub, like, listen, and I say this for your benefit, but I also say it to other people. Just because something is true in one instance does not mean we extrapolate that out. That's an assumption that is a leap. You don't know that. We need to have evidence for what we say. It is not safe to say that the Democratic Party is now controlled by the DSA level and farther left. No, it is not safe to say that at all. First of all, the far left are revolutionary communists who do not believe in elections in the first place. They don't want anything to do with the Democratic Party. They consider the DSA to be their enemy. The only place in which the DSA has successfully co-opted the Democratic Party is in New York City. That's it. That's it. You might be able to make the case they've done it in Seattle. The mayor of Seattle is a socialist. Well, okay, so I won't say that's it. You can make the case they've done it in Seattle. You can also make the case they've done it in Chicago because Seattle and Chicago have socialist mayors. You could probably make the case they've done it in Portland because, I mean, Portland's pretty fucking socialist. There may be a couple other localized places where the DSA has co-opted the Democratic Party, but never, ever, 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 ever do this. First of all, it's confusing for everyone else when they see people doing this. Just because the DSA has done something in New York and Chicago and Seattle and Portland does not mean they've done it everywhere. And so when you make a broad generalization like that, it's unhelpful in understanding the true terrain that we're dealing with. Does that, and also, by the way, there's no reason to think that classical Dems and liberals are fading out or aging out. That's, again, is something that's just being totally made up. I don't know what evidence you've used to say that other than conjecture, I guess. So I'm not trying to make you feel bad because I want you asking these questions. And of course, I appreciate you very, very much. I'm just trying to explain why doing this is not helpful, like at all.
Hands off higher ed and how we can be building power in this moment so that we can fundamentally reshift the balance of power that we need to be able to win. So with that, I'm going to be passing it over to President Johnny Earl.
Hi, everybody. My name is Johnny Earl. I'm the president of SEIU 503. We represent 72,000 workers throughout the state, but most importantly, we represent 4,500 higher education workers. And I came out of higher education. I was a custodian at the University of Oregon for over 24 years, leading the fight for equity for all jobs, because all jobs matter. What we're doing here with our workers throughout the state, we have 7 universities in 7 regions of the state of Oregon, and they are presently in bargaining. Even today, I was just at the bargaining table with them. And management is already pleading broke. We know that the federal funding for higher education has constantly went down, but most importantly, under this administration, it has suffered greatly. But at the same time, our workers still need a cost of living to reflect the times. With gas being $5 an hour, $5 a gallon, people are barely surviving. Well, some of our members can't even afford to live in the community that they serve, where the university is. But most importantly, what we've done in Oregon, which I'm quite proud of, SEIU has joined in with other higher education unions throughout the state. So community college, all the way to other private universities to try to build support around bargaining for the common good. And how do we go by supporting each other at each one of our rallies and each one of our bargaining campaigns? We're going to put that to test in the very near future as this campaign that I'm leading right now for our universities in the state is coming to plight.
Hey, we got a super chat from Dragontail. AI is also used to enforce borders, tracking and tracing pre-crime behavior, immigration, upholding capitalist institutions. FBI, ICE, DOJ. Will socialists co-opt AI to track capitalists in their utopia? Yeah, probably, honestly. Remember, didn't we watch a presentation a couple years ago about how they were trying to queer AI? Socialists will co-opt anything and use it for their purposes. I think it's a really good point, Dragon Tail. I appreciate you making it. Thanks so much for the super chat.
Contract expired in July. Manager's meeting with us tomorrow. Getting ready to get some shitty bargaining proposals. Forgive my language. But most importantly, we're getting ready to take our people out on strike if they don't get a cost of living that matters to them. But don't forget, we also have an increased cost in health insurance. There's a lot of things at stake. But at the same time, we recognize the benefits we got, everyone deserves. Anyone who works at a university should be able to get some form of cost of living that matters. But even beyond that, what about the students who are constantly being pushed to pay a higher cost for tuition? Something's wrong with that, especially when the federal funding for grants and loans has decreased. We at the University of Oregon and throughout our other 7 universities are willing to take on the fight to ensure that all workers matter who work at a university, because democracy starts right here. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Nice to see you, Johnny. Always a hard act to follow up.
May.
Yeah.
May. Okay. Paltron! Welcome to the channel, bro. Welcome to the cult. I think welcome back to the cult for you. I think you lapsed in membership, but now you're back. You want to know why you're back in the cult? Because you can never escape. Once you're in, you're in. It's all over. You might try to leave, but you'll always come back. We appreciate it. Up to 67 new channel memberships for the day.
Hi, comrades. My name is May Bracelin. I use she, her pronouns.
She, her.
I'm the former chair of UO Student Workers, United Auto Workers Local 8121, and of our University of Oregon YDSA chapter. Since then, I've been working with YDSA's Youth Labor Committee to help organize student worker drives, student worker unions all across the country. It's really exciting work. I guess to start off a little bit, I'm a senior at the University of Oregon, and for that whole time, I've been really proud to be organizing with my union, UO Student Workers. Really early in my development, I got a job at dining, and I became a member of UO YDSA when there wasn't really, a union or staff to support our organizing. It was really critical that we had that advice from these YDSA socialist labor organizers across the country who had been doing that work.
It was critical that the UAW Graduate Student Union had support from socialists, says the she, her trans woman. Again, please.
UO Student Workers, United Auto Workers Local 8121. Yeah, hi, comrades. My name is May Bracelin. I use she, her pronouns. I'm the former chair of UO Student Workers, United Auto Workers Local 8121, and of our University of Oregon YDSA chapter. Since then, I've been working with YDSA's Youth Labor Committee to help organize student worker drives, student worker unions all across the country. It's really exciting work. I guess to start off a little bit, I'm a senior at the University of Oregon, and for that whole time, I've been really proud to be organizing with my union, UO Student Workers. Really early in my development, I got a job at dining, and I became a member of UO YDSA when there wasn't really, a union or staff to support our organizing. It was really critical that we had that advice from these YDSA socialist labor organizers across the country who had been doing that work. Last spring, around just this time last spring, my union went out on a 12-day strike and we won our first contract. The first student worker union to win a contract in the state of Oregon, the first wall-to-wall public university student worker union to win a contract at all. It's big news. And I'm really proud to be bringing forward and representing the student worker labor movement on this call. It's big. It's the fastest expanding section of higher education, labor organizing.
Oh, yeah?
And I think it's really pushing the boundaries of what we can do as higher education and as workers in higher education. I have been really pleased and really honored to work with student workers all the way from, the East Coast in Dartmouth and in other drives that aren't public that I can't talk about yet, all the way over to the West Coast. We are really laying, a foundation for I think something really big coming out on May Day 2028, following kind of, my president Sean Fain's call, as well as Chicago Teacher Union's air flight attendants call.
Calling the call of the president of the United Auto Workers and the teachers unions and the flight attendants.
Really big coming out on May Day 2028, following kind of, my president Sean Fain's call, as well as Chicago Teacher Union's air flight attendants call for a general strike. We are really excited to be organizing student workers both in blue states and in red states, in hostile environments and in more friendly environments to build power. Because it's what Johnny said, it's about bringing democracy to the university. It's about thinking of—
No way, guys, they're organizing in both red states and blue states? You mean to tell me this isn't only happening in blue states, according to the Trans Woman United Auto Worker Union leader that's talking about organizing in red states and blue states? Again, always remember, if it has an apple, it has a banana.
Union's air flight attendants call for a general strike. We are really excited to be organizing student workers both in blue states and in red states, in hostile environments and in more friendly environments to build power. Because it's what Johnny said, it's about bringing democracy to the university. It's about thinking about what is a university system that works for its workers, that works for its students, that works for all of us, and not just this tiny group of unappointed bureaucrats. What does that look like, and how do we build that? I believe that we build that through building higher education, through building labor, through giving every worker in higher education and every worker in the world what they deserve, which is a union.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Max Page, and I'm president of the Massachusetts Teachers Association, and we represent 117,000 educators, including 13,000 across public higher education where I come from.
117,000 educators in the state of Massachusetts, including 13,000 in higher education, organizing for the May Day mass general strike. Head of the teachers union.
Page, and I'm president of the Massachusetts Teachers Association, and we represent 117,000 educators, including 13,000 across public higher education where I come from at UMass Amherst. And I'm actually coming to you from Quincy, Massachusetts, where
so you're telling me you're telling me that he works for a public college in Massachusetts, a taxpayer-funded public college in Massachusetts. I was told that Harmy Dillon took care of all this stuff and that the colleges, especially the public taxpayer-funded colleges, were all defunded. And yet here we are, the head of the Massachusetts Teachers Union, organizing to take all the teachers and all the students out of school for a mass general strike on May Day 2021, which is Friday, to shut down the schools, shut down workplaces, shut down the economy. Yet this person seems to be based out of UMass Amherst, the flagship publicly funded, taxpayer funded university in Massachusetts. Kind of seems like the Trump administration's full of shit, isn't it? Kind of seems. One in the chat if you believe the Trump administration has defeated the left and has defeated the universities, and there's no more DEI and there's no more leftism happening in the universities. One in the chat if you think that that's happened. Two in the chat if you think the Trump administration is full of shit. And every conservative influencer telling you that this problem has been defeated is also full of shit. It's a lot of twos. Lot of twos showing up in the chat. Almost like when you look at the primary source evidence for yourself and you don't allow any conservative commentators to get into your head with their propaganda talking points, almost like it becomes very clear what's actually going on. Let's just listen one more time, just for fun.
My name is Max Page, and I'm president of the Massachusetts Teachers Association, and we represent 117,000 educators, including 13,000 across public higher education where I come from at UMass Amherst. And I'm actually coming to you from Quincy, Massachusetts, where 399 years ago, the first May Day celebration took place on this continent. With these were radicals who'd been expelled from Puritan Boston, building a tentative alliance with Neponset native peoples, and celebrated around a tree that served as the first maypole. But zooming 4 centuries forward, I want to tell you a quick May Day story of how a coalition of workers, their unions, faith-based and community groups came together to tax the uber rich, as Bernie likes to say, to win $3 billion a year, all to be invested in public education and transportation. And I'm really sharing this story to encourage all of you to be part of building a 50-state tax the rich movement so workers can have more of the wealth they produce, invest in our schools and colleges and universities, our healthcare, affordable housing, and our transportation systems, and more. So we were a flat tax state for 107 years since the income tax was first installed in 1915. And over that century, 5 attempts to introduce progressive tax failed, and miserably. But finally, because of the growing disgust at the concentration of wealth, the desperate needs of working people, and frankly, really good organizing and coalition, we won. We asked the very wealthiest to pay 4 cents on every dollar over $1 million in annual income. Think about that. Do you make $1 million in annual income? These are the richest of the rich. All the proceeds from that little tax have to be spent on public education, pre-K through higher education, and roads, bridges, and public transportation. And all the critics, the skeptics said maybe we would bring in $1 billion.
Yeah. Hi, Cam Higby. Is this research considered bottom feeding? Is this research considered bottom feeding? Yeah. Well, Dragon Tail, Cam Higby right now is doing a tour around colleges where he is doing a change my mind series of debates with college students where he's saying, hey guys, I think the left is violent and you think the right is violent. Let's fight about it. That's not bottom feeding. It's not bottom feeding for him to go to universities to try to piss off fucking college students to say, debate me, bro, what if the left is really violent? That's not bottom feeding, but research into the actual left and their actual organizing and listening to actual activists. Oh, this is the bottom feeding, guys. This is the bottom feeding, according to the Zionist, conservative, right-leaning superstars. Okay.
Dollars if we won, but we knew better. And last year, just 25,000 super rich households in a state of 7 million people paid $3 billion in taxes. That's how rich these people are. And that money is making life-changing investments. Free community college for all, a $3 billion bond fund for the public higher education building repairs, hundreds of millions to backfill the cuts to research due to the Trump and Republicans' war on higher ed. More money to finally, we hope, we expect, address the exploitation. The word is what it is. Exploitation of contingent faculty and the low pay of our community college faculty and staff. Universal school meals, free regional buses, more for special education, for childcare, for early education. We built our power together in coalition, and that is key. And we did it in order to win for working people. So we're going to be out on May Day across our campuses, but also marching in alliance with our pre-K-12 members and alongside other workers, celebrating this victory, but also demanding more. We're going to continue to raise our expectations and also, frankly, raise a little more hell in order to win. Because you know what? That $3 billion we won from the super rich, it just wasn't enough. It was really just a good start. So that's my message to all of us. Let's join the campaigns that are growing across this country to retrieve workers' money, workers' wealth that is sitting in the hands of far too few people, as Bernie said. Let's be May Day strong, and we'll look forward to seeing the wave of actions all across the country.
Guys, we are watching a May Day organizing call that took place about less than a week ago to prepare for our Friday May Day infiltration. As a reminder, there is an hour and a half until a potential public spy stream. I am issuing all of you a challenge. If we get 150 new channel members today during this stream, I will do a rare public spy stream into a very far left organizing call about the universities and public schools at 8 p.m. tonight. If we do not meet the goal, I might do it as a supporter exclusive stream, or I might not do it at all. It really just depends on how I feel about it. But what I would love for to happen is for us to have a public spy stream today where we are showing people live far left organizing. And in order to do that, I'm going to need 150 new members of the channel in order to fund this work and to keep me in business, because I'm independently funded by you guys. If you appreciate that I'm showing you content no one else is showing you, breaking it down, explaining it, making sure more people see what the left is actually doing, the best way you can show your gratitude today is to gift some channel memberships out to the community, whether that be 1 channel membership, 5 channel memberships, 10 channel memberships, 20 or 50 or however many you want. And if we meet the goal of 150, we will do a public spy stream in about an hour and a half tonight. And so it's up to you guys. It's really up to you guys whether or not we do it. But we'll just keep going for now and see how it goes.
Thank you all so much for sharing. I mean, I heard and felt what it's been like to fight this battle on our campuses as universities operate like businesses instead of in the interest of the public that they are supposed to serve. And I mean, we've all experienced that in one way or another these past few months. And I know how it showed up on my campus. If you joined a little late, I'm Amy, and I'm a student at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill.
Oh, student at the University of North Carolina. Let's make sure we get all that. W's Mass Red Death. Really appreciate the 5 channel memberships, bro. You rock. We got Anthony with a channel membership. W to Anthony for that. Guys, if everyone in the chat right now gave 1 channel membership, we would already have crushed this goal completely. We are about halfway to our goal for today. Literally, if everyone just gave 1 channel membership, that's $5, we would already be done. We would crush it. We would crush it. If half of you watching on YouTube right now gave 1 channel membership, we would crush it. Okay? We can do this. I would appreciate it. Let's keep going.
That they are supposed to serve. And I mean, we've all experienced that in one way or another these past few months. And I know how it showed up on my campus. If you joined a little late, I'm Amy, and I'm a student at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. And I also happen to be one of your MCs tonight. And
a student at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. Bot, it with the channel membership. W's to Bot. Thank you, Bot. I appreciate it. W's to Unmask Red Death, giving another channel membership. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Let's add that to our total. We are now over the halfway mark. That's always the hardest part. All downhill from here.
And yeah, like I said, it's been felt here in North Carolina. I mean,
sorry to keep pausing. We keep getting more channel memberships. Dottie Girl, in with the $5. W's Dottie Girl. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you and all your support. We also got another one from Focus. W's in the chat for Focus. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That adds 6 more to our tally, bringing us up to 82. See, it's super simple, guys. Teamwork makes the dream work. It really doesn't take that many people to hit these goals, and I really do appreciate it. It really does help me out.
In October of this year, a Professor Dwayne Dixon was put on leave unjustly because, and I quote, he was anti-racist and anti-fascist. That was the words of our university. And in ways that I've never seen before, students and workers rallied and organized and told our university that they served us, workers and students first. And after 3 weeks of organizing, Professor Dixon was reinstated because the university heard us, because organizing works. And even still, we also understood that that was not the end and will not be the end of the terror that our universities have been feeling all these months. And only weeks later, Trump's compact was introduced to our campus and campuses all around the country. And we rose up again. We challenged the Trump administration and the control that they were trying to assert over our universities. And we rejected the compact, and so did so many of the universities that some of you may be affiliated with here tonight. Because like I said, organizing works. So you can commit to planning a May Day action on your campus or joining one that might already be getting started with the links that are going to be dropped in the chat in just a few seconds. But I also want to introduce some folks that have been fighting for the freedom to teach, to research, and to learn, maybe at some of you guys' campuses. So in line with that, I'm going to introduce three really amazing folks. First, Dr. Leonard Bright, who is a professor of public admin and the president of the American Association for University Professors, AAUP, at Texas A&M.
AAUP is the union for university professors.
And he's going to take us through what resistance for university workers has looked like.
So this guy is the president of the American Association for University Professors at Texas A&M. That is a massive public university in Texas, which I was assured was a red state.
Of the American Association for University Professors, AAUP, at Texas A&M. And he's going to take us through what resistance for university workers has looked like on his campus. So let's hear some hype in the chat for him. And then we're also going to hear from Kate Murtha, who is a postdoc at Weill Cornell Medicine and an elected leader of UAW Local 4100, which is a local union for postdocs and researchers in NYC. So some hype for her. And then, last but not least, we're going to hear from Tyler Ayer in this panel, who is the vice president and co-founder of Ohio University's Ohio Student Association, who has also been doing a lot of work on the ground for students and their rights and freedoms of education. So let's hear from Dr. Bright.
Yeah, let's hear from Texas A&M professor. Oh.
Hi, thank you for having me. Again, my name is Dr. Bright. I am a full professor at Texas A&M University.
Dr.
And
Bright.
and is a member of our AAUP chapter. It is a union over 40,000 strong. And
40,000!
Our chapter at Texas A&M. And so most pertinently, I would say that Texas is on the front lines of this battle for the soul of higher education, and specifically against the political interference that we've been seeing in our classrooms. And this has been something that's been going on for at least 4 years. The concentrated attack on our universities all across Texas, and it started with what we call SB 17. It was a law that passed that eliminated our DEI offices. And then there was, SB 17 in this last session that weakened, our faculty governance and expanded the power of our border regions over our universities. So we've been seeing, since that time, faculty being fired for teaching routine topics, for example, like gender theory. There is a case where a student recorded a professor, it went viral. The governor literally called for that professor to be fired. Our president fired her, and then later he stepped down. She's suing now, and she has the full support, legal protection, from the AAUP. We're paying the full cost. We're not undergoing.
So the AAUP, the University Professor Union, run by this guy out of Texas A&M, is paying the full cost for a professor that got fired for teaching queer ideology and gender ideology to sue the state-funded university to get her job back. That's being funded by the University Professor Union, run by the guy at Texas A&M, another taxpayer-funded institution. Does everyone get this? Listen again.
For teaching routine topics, for example, like gender theory. There is a case where a student recorded a professor, it went viral. The governor literally called for that professor to be fired. Our president fired her, and then later he stepped down. She is suing down, and she has the full support, legal protection, from the AAUP. We're paying the full cost. We're now undergoing, as a result of that, they sort of said, now we're going to do a syllabus review process. And basically, this is a way for them to start to macromanage what's happening in our classes under the guise of some kind, somehow alignment. And so these policies later, then they came across and they said, now we're going to do more than just that. We're going to ban the discussions of race, gender, and sexuality in our classes. And now you need special approval from the president to teach these classes or to teach these topics in some courses. They're even using AIs to identify courses that they deem to be problematic in that degree. So at this point, faculty face literally termination. We've been told if we teach these topics without approval, we face discipline up to and including termination. And it's resulted in hundreds of courses being canceled, as well as being revised, that is. I mean, not even Plato, as some of you may have heard the news, could escape this. One of our professors could not teach, Plato in his classes. This has also affected my class as well. I couldn't teach an ethics and public policy class because I refused to limit discussions on race, gender to one day or to one reading. So nonetheless, what this has created is a climate of fear. Students are being, asked, and literally there is a snakes portal that the state has set up that students can anonymously report and record a professor. And if the university don't investigate that professor, they risk losing their funding.
They're pissed off that the state set up a way for students to anonymously record and report their professors. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. They're like, you mean these students can report us when we're breaking the law?
So nonetheless, what this has created is a climate of fear. Students are being, asked, and literally there is a snakes portal that the state has set up that students can anonymously report and record a professor. And if the university don't investigate that professor, they risk losing their funding. But in response to that, the good news is that chapter have grown exponentially. We've done 3 major rallies this term, to push back against this. I mean, just 2 days ago, we did a rally against it was a counter protest against a civil discourse symposium that featured Mike Pence. And the argument we argue is that it's so disingenuous to allow civil discourse in this one event and disallow it in our classrooms. So above all, we are working to show to our community, to convince elected officials that higher education is a public good and it's not a spoil.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kate Murtha. I'm a postdoc at Weill Cornell Medicine and a member of our postdoc union, WCMPU. WCMPU secured our first contract just this past November after a year and a half of brutal contract negotiations during the Trump administration's attacks on healthcare, higher education, research, and international workers. And during our campaign, federal funding cuts were weaponized by the WCM administration at the bargaining table. Repeatedly, they cited these funding cuts as justification for denying us things like job security and undermining protections that we had already fought really hard to win. But through majority collective
they officially did support Tom Alter. I was really hoping he was going to mention Tom Alter, to be honest. I was waiting for it, but yeah, that union absolutely supported Tom Alter 100%.
Actions that allowed us to fight back, and WCMU wound up securing a very strong contract.
We win, they lose.
And setting new standards for postdocs across the sector. We joined Local 4100, the local for NYC postdocs and researchers. Our local was heavily engaged in the Kill the Cuts campaigns, which was a mass movement led by UAW to fight back against the Trump administration's attacks on higher ed. And we realized that all of the organizing tools that helped us win these really solid first contracts could be used in our fight against the Trump's administration on higher ed. And our strategy has been mainly to raise public awareness through things like rallies, to apply political pressure, and to fight in the courts. And all of this has been possible because we have a strong union. Through these efforts, thousands of grants have been reinstated, stalled funding has began to be released, and these massive cuts to federal funding that Trump has proposed were rejected by the House and the Senate. A lot of the organizers that were involved in the Kill the Cuts campaign decided that it was time to bring that same strategy to fight for biomedical research funding at the state level. So together we started Fund NY Science, which is a grassroots campaign to fight for New York State science funding. And the campaign turned into something a lot bigger than we could have ever imagined. Over a period of just a couple months, we built abundant and broad support through a growing network of researchers across the state, and we were building solidarity across the sector. So grad students, lab techs, and research assistants were all coming together and starting to have a conversation about the importance of fighting for research funding and the importance of doing it together. As our fight for research funding continues, we're relying on a wider network of researchers, patients, advocates, and supporters of higher education and science. And I believe that organizing collectively across multiple campaigns, we're laying the groundwork for a stronger future for academics and for scientists across the world.
Hello, I am Tyler Ayers, and I'm the co-founder and vice president of the Ohio Student Association, Ohio University chapter.
Oh
For
yeah,
those that don't know,
Ohio
OSA
State.
is
Ohio State. Huh. Another taxpayer-funded institution.
a grassroots student-led political organization centered around building student power on college campuses. And this year, our chapter went from struggling to find a faculty advisor to negotiating with decision makers at our school, and I am so excited to tell you all how we did it. So it started in January. The ICE occupation of Minneapolis was in full swing, and a lot of students at OU were becoming worried about something like that happening here. So then on January 21st, we received a call to action where we would walk out in solidarity with Minneapolis's Day of Truth and Freedom. We had about 48 hours to plan a campus-wide walkout, and while we were nervous and maybe even a little scared, we knew we had to step up. And in those 48 hours leading up to the rally, they were filled with nonstop correspondence with my team and generating buzz anywhere we could. We reached out to press, put up literally hundreds of flyers, and reached out to as many campus orgs as we could. And the walkout ended up being a massive success with about 1,000 students in attendance and over 800 signatures on our petition, demanding the university take preemptive steps to ensure student safety in the event that ICE comes on campus. And I will paste our demands in the chat. So that event secured us a meeting with university admin where we had hoped to go through each demand and discuss implementation, but instead they brushed us off and gave us a bunch of reasons on why they couldn't or wouldn't implement our demands. We left that meeting feeling frustrated and a little hopeless, but not defeated, and we got creative. So shortly after that meeting, we hosted a town hall open to the entire student body where we invited a panel of decision makers, including the dean of students, the student body president, university legal counsel, and the chief of campus police, essentially taking a closed-door meeting and bringing it to the public. This forced admin to address students directly and take a side. While not all of our demands were met, we were able to get the chief of OUPD to publicly state they would not sign a 287G agreement, as well as commitments from the Student Senate to create a system of verification and notification to students in the event that ICE comes to our school. These were huge wins, but throughout this campaign, we noticed an overarching issue. Our university's president was nowhere to be found during this entire process. We had spent months sending emails, inviting her to events such as the town hall, and even putting up missing person posters. We were doing everything in our power to secure a meeting with her, but we received nothing but radio silence, and that was unacceptable. This brings us to last Thursday, April 16th, which was OU's May Day since our semester ends next week. We really built off of the momentum from the town hall and hosted another walkout and rally, this time addressing the bigger issue of our president's silence and refusal to meet with students. Our walkout was at the same time as the Board of Trustees meeting, so we marched straight there because if our president wouldn't come to us, we would go to her and her bosses. We peacefully and silently filled the meeting and had so many people we overflowed into the lobby. We had taped our mouths and held signs asking our president to meet with us, but she wouldn't even look us in the eye.
Paltron in with a $5 W's to Paltron. Thank you so much, bro. We are inching closer to our goal of 150 new channel memberships. We currently have 88. So that means we need just 62 more, guys. 62 more. It's really not that hard. If you want to do a live public spy stream at 8 p.m. Eastern time, open to everyone, where we go inside a live leftist organizing call where university professionals are going to talk about organizing to go on strike. That is the topic. These are taxpayer funded individuals. I will show you. This is pre-recorded. This happened a week ago. If we hit this channel membership goal live at 8 p.m., I will take you inside their live discussion so you can see it happening in real time. We need what? 62 more? If 62 people right now donated one channel membership, we would be there. That's less than 1/3 of the people watching right now. Okay? This is totally doable. If we get people giving 5 channel memberships, what is that? What is that for 5 channel memberships? It's like 13 people. If 13 people give 5 channel memberships, we're there. If 3 people and change give 20 channel memberships, we're there. This is a really doable goal. I hope we can meet it. We have about an hour to do so. So if you guys want to see this stuff happen live right in front of you, I will show it to you if you show up for me and hit the channel membership goal. I would really appreciate it. Here's a question. To piggyback on what Old Sub said earlier, do I think the DSA will continue to gain control of the Democratic Party? Probably so. Yes, I do think that the DSA will continue to co-opt Democratic parties around the country because the DSA is highly organized, and no one really likes the Democratic Party. No one really likes the Democrats. It's like they go along with the Democrats because they're not the Republicans. But if they have an alternative to that can actually win elections, the DSA is starting to show that when they co-opt the Democratic Party, they can, in fact, win elections. So I do expect that we will see more of that. Really good question. W's to Mario. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted channel memberships, bro. Really appreciate that. See how easy that is, guys? Now we're up to 93. We only need... You guys are making me do math. 57 more, guys. 57 more. So fucking close.
We took up space in a room we had every right to be in, and you could feel the energy and the tension. We are still working on winning the rest of our demands, but the powerful base we've built, full of people learning how to organize and who we can call on to mobilize, is a victory in and of itself.
Do I think the Democrats clean house? No, the Democrats aren't going to do shit. No. The Democrats aren't going to do shit. The Democrats are disorganized. They don't know what the fuck is going on. When the Democrats win the midterms, it will not be because people supported the Democrats. It will be because people voted against the Republicans. There is no universe in which the Democratic Party is cleaning house. The Democratic Party is a shell of a party. They don't even have money, really. So I'm going to say this again because it's really important for people to understand. When the Democrats win the midterms, it is not going to be because people are voting for the Democrats. It is going to be because people are voting against the Republicans and Trump. Just because someone votes for something does not mean they are in favor of that thing. They may be doing a protest vote. They may be doing a vote to try to co-opt something. There could be many reasons why people will vote for an outcome that have nothing to do with supporting that thing. The Democratic Party does not have people that are really excited to support it. The DSA does. That is why the DSA can co-opt the democratic system in certain very left-leaning areas. But there's no universe in which, at least right now, unless something dramatic happens, there's no universe in which the Democratic Party is clearing house of the DSA. Good question, though.
And it has felt overwhelming at times. Change is never easy, and being the makers of change is even harder. But our opponents are the only ones who benefit when we underestimate our individual and collective power. So to everybody planning actions or hosting actions, I wish you the best of luck, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Leonard, Kate, and Tyler, for speaking and sharing all of your inspiring stories from these past few weeks and months. For everyone on this call, the almost 400 of you who are listening on with me, we just heard the realities of how the billionaire authoritarian agenda is ever so present in our day-to-day, in our education, on our campuses, but even more importantly, how we are standing up for folks in our communities and rising up and speaking out. And Workers and students like you all are standing up for your communities and keeping each other safe on the front of academic liberties, but also there are folks on this call with us today who have also been showing up as ICE intimidates our campuses and our communities at the same time. Just a few months ago, Minneapolis showed us what is possible when workers and students make the decision to rise up and shut down a city because the billionaire class is terrorizing our communities, and the Trump agenda is doing the same. And so tonight, I am very pleased to introduce a few folks to you who have been doing this work all around the country and meeting this moment with the intensity and the fight it requires. So first up, we have Saisha Jindal, who is a student leader with Students for International Labor Solidarity, SILS, at NYU. And then we're going to hear from Ben Lewis, who is a PhD student in statistics and the president of GLU UE 1105, a union for grad workers at the University of Minnesota. And then last but not least, we're going to hear from Sarah Moreno, who is a senior at Florida International University, organizing with Youth Action.
Oh, Florida. Florida. Did you guys know that Florida International University is a taxpayer-funded university in Florida? Florida! You don't say. I was assured this was not happening in Florida. Now we have Texas and Florida and North Carolina all on the same call. Huh.
Fund as president of Icebreakers, doing a lot of that really intense work of leading a student coalition fighting for FIU's agreement. They're against their current agreement with ICE. So let's hear for them in the chat, and I will turn it over to Saisha.
Hi, I'm Saisha from NYU's chapter of Students for International Labor Solidarity. I'm a sophomore at NYU. SILS is a national cohort of students across multiple campuses spanning from the Midwest, the South, the Pacific Northwest. We organize with garment workers in the Global South, making our college apparel, and we use our particular leverage as college students to do so. At the end of last year, we won a huge case against Nike. Nike had stolen $900,000 from workers in Thailand, producing apparel for US colleges. We pushed for our universities to cut ties with Nike. And not only did they admit to wage theft, but they paid the workers their money back, along with a historic $42,000 for the worker leader, Cha Fan-du. Currently, we're working on a new campaign called Follow the Thread, demanding supply chain transparency. We sit on a history of student organizing. Students in the 90s and the 2000s ran campaigns to ensure that brands are disclosing all their factories in their supply chains. Recently, we had a naked picket at NYU.
A naked picket?
We took our clothes off in solidarity with the workers and
they had a naked strike at NYU where they took their clothes off to be in solidarity with the workers. You don't want to see that, man. I'm still traumatized from the naked bike ride. Yo. Don't make me relive that. On May 3rd, Philip is hosting a panel for Red Maid. I know, we saw that earlier, Daru, too. I really do appreciate the super chat. We're definitely going to be tuning in to see what Philip has to say. But let's focus on this for a second. They were doing a naked protest at NYU. Say again, please.
To ensure that brands are disclosing all their factories in their supply chains. Recently, we had a naked picket at NYU. We took our clothes off in solidarity with the workers and denounced any sweatshops in our supply chains. The reason that SILS has been successful in all our campaigning work is because we have always centered the workers. We have been in conversation with union leaders and factory workers in the Global South alongside collaborating with national unions, of course.
You know, I'm really sure those poor sweatshop factory workers in the global south really appreciated that they all got naked to be in a protest orgy together at NYU. I'm sure that really they really felt like they were in solidarity with the rich college students of NYU taking all their clothes off.
And we understand that collective liberation is inherently a transnational struggle. Recently, we joined hands with Schools Drop Ice. Schools Drop Ice is a coalition of orgs working to dismantle and destabilize ICE. We are demanding that companies who have contracts with our universities and ICE immediately cut ties with ICE. At SILS, particularly, we've been trained with the particular tactics to run and win contract cut campaigns. We are best equipped to slow and disrupt and attack the fascism and imperialism that we see within ICE. So currently we have 5 corporate targets. At NYU, we are targeting Enterprise and Hilton. We have been running our petition. We've been flyering, tabling, reaching out to everybody we flyered and tabled to. I think there's immense excitement among students.
Nudists united will never be defeated. Nudists united will never be defeated.
To take down ICE, to turn to the streets.
Yo! Hang on. Kristen comes in with the 5 channel memberships. Kristen, thank you so much for the 5 gifted channel memberships. Really appreciate it. Guys, we are 52 channel memberships away. We are but 52 channel memberships away from meeting the goal. I know you guys can do it. I believe in you. Old Sub in with the 20. Thank you, Old Sub. I'm sorry, I just can't cheer for or hope that the left wins. I will mourn it. I will be sad and angry. The left is the doom of our nation. Yes, the right is their own worst enemy, but I will not cheer for their demise. Old Sub, here is what you need to understand. If the right wins the midterms, the left wins the war. You guys have been saying that Trump is playing 4D chess for years and years and years. Let me show you how 4D chess actually works. If the current iteration of the GOP wins the midterms, that does not prevent the left from winning the war. That actually facilitates the left winning the war. That helps the left. The left will be more powerful if the current iteration of the GOP wins the midterms. The biggest challenge that we have to deal with is the current GOP, the current Republican political establishment is doing nothing to solve this problem. They are not protecting anyone. What you are talking about is trading a short-term victory for a long-term loss because you are convinced that for some reason the Republicans are defeating the communists. The Republicans are not defeating the communists. The Republicans are not even hinged into reality about what the communists are. They need to be voted out. The only way, I promise you, the only way to defeat the left is to go through the right. Every single fucking decision maker that thought that using the Trump assassination attempt from the other day to build a ballroom, that was their big ask. Hey guys, Trump almost got shot again. We really need to build this ballroom. Why didn't they use that to say, we need to arrest Antifa? That should have been the ask. When will the Trump administration get serious about arresting far-left terrorists? They will not. And when given the choice between, do we build our big, beautiful ballroom so Trump can have another vanity project, and arresting Antifa, they chose the ballroom. They did not choose arresting Antifa. They haven't done anything to stop the left in the entire time that Trump has been in office. The left flourished like never before in 2020 when Trump was in office. The Black Lives Matter riots happened under Trump. He didn't do anything about it except run and hide in a bunker under the White House, which then they dragged him for that. He didn't arrest anyone that literally tried to break into the White House. Do you guys remember this? I remember this. And now we have the same old thing again, where as soon as Trump took office, anti-ICE organizing shot up. They were talking openly about what they were doing. I was covering this since January 2025. We tried to tell them what was going on, and no one listened, and they did nothing. And even after Trump allegedly declared anti-terrorist organization, they have done nothing. They've literally done nothing. Not only have they done nothing, but the left has won over and over and over and over again. The left chased Trump out of Portland. The left chased Trump out of Chicago. The left chased Trump out of Minnesota. They are winning. And this, by the way, is when Republicans control literally every branch of government. They control the executive. They control Congress. They control the Supreme Court. They literally control they control the FBI. They control the DHS. They control ICE. They control the Department of Justice. They control literally everything. And what argument did they make when Trump got shot when Trump almost got shot at the assassination attempt at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and everyone was real upset about it, and we were supposed to all come out in favor of building a fucking ballroom. I don't give a fuck about a ballroom. I want the Trump administration to arrest Antifa and start putting Antifa behind bars. They refuse to do it. So you might believe that by voting, by the way, I'm not telling anyone who to vote for. Vote for whoever the fuck you want. But I sure as shit am not voting for a Republican establishment that picks building a fucking ballroom that most of us will never set foot in our lifetimes because it's only for the most elite of the most elite. I will not vote for a party that picks building a ballroom over arresting Antifa and far-left terrorists that are committing violence all over the country constantly, and the Republicans do nothing to stop them. I refuse. If you want to vote for that, you be my guest. If you want to lie to yourself and say, we're stopping the left, everyone is allowed to lie to themselves, bro. Literally, everyone is allowed to lie to themselves. But I'm not buying in to that particular fantasy. So do whatever you want. I believe if the Republicans win the midterms, we are doomed to a leftist revolution in this country even sooner than we thought. So take that for what it's worth. W's in the chat. Chica Lago with another channel membership. That gets us up to 99, guys. We are so close. We are so close. 51 more to go. About half an hour. Can we get 51 channel memberships in half an hour? W's Dr. Raleigh, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Well, that gets us a little bit closer to the way there. We need 46 more channel memberships, guys. 46 more channel memberships for a public spy stream at 8 p.m. tonight.
We've also been throwing parties for students to ensure that they're motivated. On May Day, we...
Old sub, I knew you were waiting to do that. Can I just tell you? I knew that old sub was just sitting there waiting for us to cross the 100 mark so that he could drop the 50 channel membership bomb. I had, even though old sub and I disagree on voting for Republicans, that's fine. We're allowed to disagree. This is America. I had a sneaking suspicion in the back of my head that as soon as we cross that 100 channel memberships, old sub was just going to pull out his giant dick and throw it down on the table and be like, boom! I love it. I love it. 50 new channel memberships. That means we are doing a public spy stream at 8 p.m. tonight that everyone can attend. We also do have 2 supporter spy streams this week. We have one tomorrow. We have one the next day. So all you new channel membership members, the 154 people who just got gifted channel memberships, you guys will get access to our supporter exclusive spy streams on tomorrow night and Thursday night. But old sub and everyone else, thank you to everyone who donated 154 channel memberships so far on the stream. You guys made it possible to do a totally free spy stream at 8 p.m. and it's going to be fucking awesome. Okay, you guys are really going to like it. It's going to be awesome. I'm actually really glad we met this goal. Yup, and old sub is retiring at the end of the week. And let's all just do a massive round of W's in the chat for old sub. He's an independent now. He at least, he left the Republicans. Well, we'll take it in baby steps, old sub. We'll take it in baby steps. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for everything you do. Congratulations on your retirement this week. Can't wait to have you around more helping out the cause.
We will be having a vigil and also joining our labor partners in having a huge rally, working with organizations on our campus and beyond. Students have been on the front lines, fighting for justice, building collective power, and denouncing ICE, and we will continue to do so. I am so excited to turn people on May Day, bring people in, and I'm so excited to see all of y'all there as well. Thank you.
Hey folks, my name is Ben. I am the president of GLUE 1105, representing a union that represents 4,000 plus grad workers here at the University of Minnesota.
The University of Minnesota, grad students at the University of Minnesota. You don't say.
I live in Northeast Minneapolis, just miles from where Renee Good and Alex Preddy were murdered by ICE just a few months ago. The last few months here in the city have fundamentally altered something in me. I am a union member, and as a prerequisite, I have to believe in the power of collective action, right? But seeing how our community came together to protect each other was truly astounding. Labor shut down a metro area and pulled hundreds of thousands of people into the streets in a cold Minnesota January. GLUE UE was a part of a higher ed labor alliance that shut down the state flagship institution. And when we go to protests, right, you often hear this chant of when we fight, we win. And I don't know how much I truly believe that until I saw ICE begin to draw down in our city after this massive wave of organizing. And this was great, right? January 23rd was great, but it was also not enough here. I think all of us know this. That's why we are in this call. And we at UE know the power that workers are able to wield when we stand together, right? And what better time to do that than now? As we sit, the specter of fascism grows taller in our country. Corporations bend the knee as the executive branch continues to consolidate power. Universities strike deals that erode our rights to teach and study freely. Strategic initiatives pour money into AI at the expense of bread and butter infrastructure on college campuses. Our employers have chosen their side in this, right? And it's time to hold them accountable. GLUE UE and 11 other UE grad locals are demanding universities be remade to better serve the workers who sustain them. That means decent pay, labor protections for all workers on college campuses, commitments to academic freedom and research integrity, preservation of DEI programs, protections for international workers, and finally, that universities be put under public and worker control with free tuition so that all workers can access higher education. And but where do we go from here, from where we are right now? There are hundreds of people in this call: students, custodial workers, professors, educational staff, lecturers, grad workers, postdocs. There is real power in this room. And now is the time to wield it. because our bosses are not going to be the ones to fight for us on our behalf. In Minnesota, it wasn't our university's president walking the streets with whistles, protecting her neighbors and documenting ISIS crimes. CEOs weren't hopping on their laptops at night.
What organization is this? It's a whole bunch of different unions, mostly comprised of university professionals.
To plate check suspicious vehicles in their communities. It was the workers who did that. And it has to be the workers to push back against the rising tide of fascism now. And we in higher ed can and should lead this fight. We have the skills, and if we do this together, we have the power to do it. So on April 29th, Blue is holding a rally demanding the University of Minnesota shut down on May Day. And like on 123, hundreds of Blue UE.
They're just trying to shut down the entire university. Taxpayer-funded university. Why hasn't the Trump administration defunded the University of Minnesota yet, by the way? The University of Minnesota, Students for a Democratic Society, the Sunrise Movement, the YDSA at the University of Minnesota. There are so many University of Minnesota groups that have been directly involved in all of the anti-ICE bullshit that are funded by the University of Minnesota through public taxpayer funding at both like the state and the federal level. These people get federal funding. Why hasn't the Trump administration defunded the University of Minnesota from all federal funds for hosting and funding an insurrection against the government?
This fight. We have the skills, and if we do this together, we have the power to do it. So on April 29th, Blue is holding a rally demanding the University of Minnesota shut down on May Day. And like on 123, hundreds of Blue UE members are flexing their time to stay off campus on May Day. And I'm really excited to see what the rest of you all do on May Day. And I hope to see you out there if you're local. And I can't wait to hear what happens in other cities as well. Thanks so much.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah. I am a student organizer and senior at Florida International University. I'm the president and co-founder of Icebreakers. We are an organization that is funded and supported by Youth Action Fund. We're fighting against the 287G agreement with ICE. If you don't know what that is an agreement in which local and state police departments can deputize officers to act as ICE agents. That is an agreement that our university signed on to. And all across the university and all across Florida, people are opposed to these sorts of agreements. Florida is on the front lines fighting against ICE on campus. These are agreements that currently only exist within Florida universities. So in collaboration with UFF-FIU, our faculty union, we've opposed the agreement, we've provided people with community resources, and we've amassed huge community support from students, faculty, graduate students, staff, all alike. This is a huge win for us because the way that these agreements go through is by keeping them hushed down and quiet, and the fact that we've been able to get a substantial percentage of our school to stand against it is hugely impactful. Our school is a commuter school. It is a working class school. It is a school in Florida. We have a lot of repressive policies, and there's a lot of natural self-policing that goes on. So I'd say our biggest win so far has been kind of changing that culture within the campus. I think one thing that the opponent wants you to do is to self-police yourself, is to believe that you don't really have any power and that there's nothing that you can do. And so gradually we've been chipping away at that block by getting people to understand, no, we should disrupt. And one of the things we did to disrupt the administration is we did an action on March 13th in which we went to a publicity event for our president, who used to be the lieutenant governor to Ron DeSantis. And we stood up and revealed shirts that were saying ICE off FIU. The repression came down hard after that. Currently, we have 6 students that have been facing conduct charges for something that is, our First Amendment right, our expression of free speech. And I'm really proud to say that despite the fact that our campus is not a campus that has been, known for being, I guess, bold, that is changing because these students are not afraid. These students are lawyered up and they're ready to fight, and we're ready to go public with this fight. And I invite you to support us. And, If any of you are facing a current situation where you feel like you don't have the resources to go up against a fight like this, I invite you to join YAF. I'll put some links in the chat, or you can join their Ember program, which is something that we've done through their Spark program that helps you fund and get mentorship for these sorts of situations. If they're coming down on you, it's because you're a real threat. If they're coming down on you, it's because they know how they have something to fear. And the thing I'm proudest of currently is the fact that students and workers alike are becoming very aware of that. And if anything, it's giving us more ammunition. Thank you.
Thank you so much. To all the speakers that we've heard from today. At this point, we've heard from 9 of y'all, 9 insanely powerful folks that are doing a lot of work, as we heard, all around the country. And even still, that is only a fraction of all of the fight that is really present in all of our communities, the communities that we have built. And a lot of that work is done by you all on this call, as workers, as students, as educators, etc. And as we round out this call, we are actually going to hear from another friend, Deanna Moreno, who is a current representative of District 36 in New York, which happens to be the same district that Zoran Mamdani represented just a few months ago, before becoming the mayor of NYC. And she has roots as a community organizer and is dedicated in a very similar way to a lot of you all to protecting workers and protecting students and fighting for the 99% above all else. So we're going to transition to a video that Deanna, our friend, sent over to us.
We're waiting. We're waiting. We're waiting, communists. I guess I can fast
Having
forward.
some technical
There we go.
difficulties.
I guess
No
I
worries.
can fast
Thank you so
forward.
much,
It's a recorded
Candy.
video.
But yeah, so while we wait for
I know, it's been a W stream for sure. Still got a little bit
the
left.
tech things on the back end to get worked out. As I was saying before, we have heard so many different impactful stories from all corners of the country in many different contexts. And in that way, we're also doing a lot of prep as we plan for May Days, as that's going to show up in your communities. And if you all haven't already, toolkits have been dropped in the chat, and they'll be dropped again so that you can figure out who to organize with and alongside come May 1st and even before and even past May 1st in order to make sure and maintain power in your communities and amongst students and workers alike. So I think the video is ready.
Let's see the video.
So we'll hop over to that.
Let's share it in a link afterwards. I'm sorry, friends.
No, it's over.
No
video.
worries.
We're
So
not getting
sometimes
video.
I lie, guys. Sorry.
We're not getting video. It's
But
over.
I'm gonna hand it over to Levin to close us out.
Amazing. Thank you everyone for your patience with our tech as we navigate some of the technical difficulties. And as Amy was saying, let's give another round of applause to our amazing speakers. If I could get some reactions in the chat, either hearts or ta-das, claps, whatever you have it, let's show our amazing speakers some love here. Thanks everyone. It's been great seeing a lot of the reactions that folks are having to the speakers and learning from all of the wins that folks are sharing, all of the challenges that folks are also sharing, and to be thinking about what we're actually fighting for on May Day and beyond. It seems like one of the things that we're hearing a lot from this panel today is just how we can win, especially when working people, whether it's students, higher ed workers, community members, actually come together to make our power visible, we can actually win. As an international student, the last few months, the last year has been a really challenging one, as it has been for many of you. This is one of those years where I've had no choice but to take it day by day and to not be overwhelmed by the feelings of powerlessness. I'm not gonna lie, I'm scared, I'm tired, and I am angry. I'm tired of waking up each day dreading what headline I'm going to see in the news. I'm tired of being hyper alert every time I walk down the street. I'm tired of putting on a brave face every time I talk to my mom back home. But like many of you, I'm refusing to be intimidated into inaction because I know from experience that the only way to protect ourselves is by taking collective action and building the grassroots political movement that we need and building the mass movement that has the power to actually fight back. We, all of us, know that we will not be immobilized. We are standing up and fighting back, and we know that we have power and protection in numbers. And we know that this coming May Day, we're going to be exercising that power and making that power visible to everyone and asking our coworkers to come with us. In these moments, I like to remind myself of how I first got involved in the labor movement as a rank and file union member during the first Trump administration in 2020. I experienced firsthand the power of collective action when our UAW siblings across the country came together to beat back University of Washington's admin's attempts to fire international students stuck outside the country, and ultimately to defeat the Trump administration's attempts to deport international students en masse during the COVID pandemic. If you had asked me 17 years ago when I first got to the US that I'd end up working with thousands of my coworkers since this experience to go on strike, 2 strikes, to hold our employers accountable and to actually make higher ed work for its workers that actually do the work, I don't think I could have imagined that. But I also know that I wouldn't have been able to get to this point if someone had not asked me to go to the first rally when we were protesting against the UW admin's attempts to fire international students, when organizers showed me how to think about power and that all of these fights on campuses, at the state government, at the federal government levels are connected. I learned how to speak the language of power through organizing, and it was in these kinds of mass actions where we have the opportunity as a movement to make sure that every single one of our coworkers, every single one of our fellow students, every single one of our community members knows the stakes of what is possible and also what we can win by coming together. As workers in one of the fastest growing sectors of the labor movement, we know how to take on big fights and win. We know how to translate the power of one-to-one organizing into collective power that we can wield both at the bargaining table to hold our own bosses accountable and also at the ballot box to be able to truly make a worker-centered grassroots political movement. We know that by coming together across the divisions that are imposed upon us, we can raise the floor for all workers and set the groundwork for a worker-centered future that includes a higher education system that actually works in the public interest. We're all coming together tonight to rewrite the future of our sector, and by building this movement with this power necessary to reorient higher towards the public good. And we have this unique opportunity to come out in force on May Day. And so I'm going to ask us to share screen really quickly on, thank you, Martha, on the map of actions that are planned for May Day. Take a look at all of the actions that May Day Strong has on their website of all of these different workers that are coming together to fight for actual worker-centered future. As Brendan is saying in the chat, that's a lot of power that we have the opportunity to draw on and to be able to transform into the power that we need to be able to realize the worker-centered vision for higher ed and for the society that we need. All right. So with that, I'm going to spotlight a couple of other resources that folks have and also ask folks to share, as I'm pulling these up, to share your plans for May Day. So in the chat, please go ahead if you are excited to be marching, if you are excited to be part of an art build, if you're excited to be doing a direct action. What are your plans for May Day? If you're excited to be, if you're excited, whatever you're excited about taking action on, what are some of the things that you're asking your coworkers to do? Please share in the chat so that folks can get a sense of what is happening across the country on May Day and the kind of future that we're building. Amazing. Sounds like we are hosting events. Great. Lots of marching in Chicago, studying at the library. That's really cool. Teach-ins and helping support students. Great. And I'm loving all of these kinds of different regional emphases that are coming up here. UMass Amherst, May Day Fest, rally in Austin. That sounds great, especially coming off of Dr. Bright's speech earlier and the importance of organizing in the South. Portland, Oregon showing up with May Day events and a lot of exciting energy around them. Detroit rally, great. Amazing. Local march, lots of marches, lots of exciting energy that is happening. If you don't yet have a May Day action that you are planning so far, one thing that you can do is go to, and I'm going to ask some of my fellow organizers to drop the links in the chat, to laborforhighered.org, where you'll find a toolkit that has a lot of the information that you need to set up your own higher ed specific action in advance of May Day. So on May Day, we have this incredible opportunity to make our force as higher ed workers visible across these 3 demands that our amazing speakers have covered today. First is hands off higher ed. So really digging into how we need the freedom to research, to learn, to teach, and to be able to have the agency as workers and as students and as community members to be able to have a say in higher ed systems everywhere. Like Max and other folks were saying, democracy truly starts from campus, and this call to action is really speaking to that need to have an autonomous higher ed system. The second theme that workers across the country are coming around is the freedom to teach, research, and learn. We heard from Dr. Bright, we heard from Kate, we heard from Tyler, organizers that are thinking about how to protect and advance their freedom to teach, to research, and to learn, so that higher ed can truly serve the public and further the public mission that it was designed to do. Finally, workers are coming together around funding education and not war and deportation. Through all of the speeches today, we've heard a lot about how workers are coming together to demand more from our employers, and ultimately how we need to fundamentally rewrite how higher ed is being funded so that we can get more funding for education, not the war and deportation that the current administration is funding without our support. So with those 3 demands, we're challenging everyone on this call to A, turn out to your local action, B, turn out 5 of your friends or coworkers to turn out to your action with you. And for that, you're going to be able to find sample templates and materials to be able to easily reach out to other coworkers and friends on the toolkit that Candy just dropped as well. And finally, we're asking that if you do not have an action currently planned, that you start thinking about one and a way to make higher ed workers visible on May Day as folks are planning a bigger march or things like that as well. So with that, I'm loving how folks are continuing to share their plans in the chat and would encourage folks to do that. If you're looking for folks to go to marches with you, or if you're located in an area where you want to link up with other higher ed workers, please continue to use the chat to coordinate.
Guys, if you are planning on going undercover for May Day, you need to research what's going on in your area. My best recommendation is get to the biggest event that you can, whether that be in a blue major city or a red major city. But if you can't do that, even going to a smaller event can be informative in terms of at least we know what's going on there. It might not have a lot of stuff going on there, but I highly recommend trying to find the biggest event you can. But there are all sorts of websites that are coordinating this stuff. Just Google around for May Day in your area or ask AI to help you find it, and you'll be able to find it, okay? But there are some big cities that are literally having events like all day long. So we definitely want boots on the ground, especially in the cities. So make sure you look up what's going on in your area. This is not something I can help you research, just because if I was helping 30 plus people research everything, I wouldn't have time to do anything else. But you can do it. Google it. Use ChatGPT, use AI to help you. What's going on in my area? What's going on within 50 miles of me if you're willing to drive to something? If you're not willing to drive to something, what's going on within 10 miles of me? I mean, like whatever you're willing to travel is fine. But again, I recommend getting to the biggest event that you can. But if you can only go to a smaller event or you can only go for a short period of time, that's totally fine. Something is always better than nothing. Yeah, and there's stuff going on all day. This is a really important point. So I actually just saw, like, there's an event at the one I'm going to that starts later in the day. It's literally for people who have to work, and they can get out of work and go to the one later in the day. So make sure you're looking for the full schedule. In major cities, there's literally going to be stuff going on like all day long. And so you want to make sure you're getting to something. And if you have to work during the day and you can only get out for part of it, that's totally fine. Oh, welcome to my struggle, Pank. Welcome to my struggle. I can't believe why the right isn't shouting from the mountaintops all this crap that the left is spewing. This is our struggle. This is our struggle, my friend. This is our struggle.
And we are about at the end of our program. I wanted to give...
All right, that's pretty much it. We're done. We're done. We're done. We're done. As a reminder, guys, if you have not yet watched the presentation for how to go undercover for May Day, head over to my Substack. That is Karlyn, KARLYN.substack.com. It's right on the homepage. It's also on my YouTube channel, my Rumble channel, pinned to the top of my Twitter, all that stuff. Follow the instructions in this presentation, and that will tell you how to join my all-volunteer team of people all over the country who are going undercover for May Day. It also gives important information about what we're doing, what we're not doing, how to dress, how to act, what to say, how to have a good undercover identity, all that good stuff. Again, this is totally free, but I need you to watch the presentation and follow the instructions if you want to join. Now, who's ready for Spy Stream? You guys want to do a spy stream? Oh, I'm back. Do you guys want to know what we're spy streaming? Do you guys want me to show you what we're spy streaming at 8 p.m.? Haymarket Books is doing a live presentation in 18 minutes. Strike Power in the University. And this is going to be live. Do they have their chat? Oh, the chat is open. Haymarket Books is one of the largest socialist book publishers in the United States, and we are going to be watching them live at 8 p.m. So I'm going to shut down this stream. I'm going to open up the new stream. You can find it on whatever platform you're watching on. Thank you so much to everyone who donated 154 new channel memberships today. These will come in very useful for the supporter exclusive spy streams we're doing for the next 2 days. But we are doing a thank you public spy stream, sniping one of the largest socialist book publishers in the United States with university professionals talking about going on strike to shut down the economy. And that is happening in less than 20 minutes. So we're going to be shutting down this stream, starting up a new stream on the other side. I will see you guys over there. And we will be doing Disenrage tonight, by the way. I've already talked to Jennifer. We will be doing Disenrage after we do this spy stream. This is going to be about 90 minutes long because that's how long they all are. And after we do the spy stream, we're going to do Disenrage. And we're going to be channeling David Wilcox tonight to find out how he really died. All right? So that's the plan, guys. I really appreciate everyone who supported the channel today. Thank you so much. And I'll see you on the other side.
How are you feeling? How long have you been here? 3 months, May 17th. And what brought you here? That's difficult to answer. is influencing my thinking and consequently my action.
What is it you're trying to do with your life?
Play the piano for the people.
I'm not clear. How is it that playing the piano for people has eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital?
That's difficult to answer.